Have you ever did something that you were so proud of, or you became part of something that was just like one of the number one on your bucket list? Like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it with all my heart. Well, that was me with coaching. Coaching was something that I was just so excited about. I was so glad that I had the opportunity to pour back in youth because as a former athlete, too, I learned so much for being an athlete from leadership skills, relationship skills, learning how to actually handle my temperament, and learning how to be a better person just in general. Man, I was just so excited about being an athlete and going to that collegiate level. And then all of a sudden it stopped, and I became part of what we would call the coaching community because, as anything, things stop. So, becoming a coach was one of those pivotal things to me that I was just like, hey, I'm not actually on the floor, but I'm still on the floor. I'm going to be helping these kids, drawing up plays. I'm so excited about it. And bam, I got that opportunity. One of my former coaches called me and said, hey, I need you. I want you. And then before he even got everything out of his mouth, I was on the boat and I was ready to do it. And 10 and a half years was my coaching career. But in the midst of that, what I started noticing that I was giving so much to that passion of coaching, but it felt like, well, I knew it wasn't giving me back anything. I mean, I was going from a 9 to 5 to, I say, a 5 to 9. And I said it because I had a 9 to 5 job. In addition to that, I would leave work and go right to practice of many of you guys, because as we know, yes, I'm clapping the actual funding and the salaries for females as it relates to a high level. I can't pay much more, but we're talking about the middle school and the high school level. They're still struggling with that pay, especially for female coaches. And it takes so much out of you to be able to do that. So it has to be a passion purpose that you're truly doing it. And yes, it was a passion purpose for me. But for many coaches, we also know it has its ups and it has its downs. And that's what started with me, knowing that I was running all over the town, knowing I was working from Monday to Sunday, missing holidays with families because we had tournaments, making sure other people's kids are right, because that's what we do as coaches. We are a leader, the parents and the mentors when no one is around. In addition to that, within the AAU team that I had. So that part was like the summer was gone. Everything was about coaching and coaching and coaching. But however, through all that, burnout started hitting. Yes, because coaching is not just a job. I mean, it's a whole commitment. You got to be there through the good and the bad. But the most important thing about the good and the bad, you learn so much from that. So actually leaving that sport and not coaching, I learned so much about me, but it took me to have to leave the game before I recognized. And I'm going to talk about some of those many things that I learned. But one was, the environment. The environment led to me quitting. I know a lot of coaches looking at this are like, okay, here you go, coach. Yes, the environment. The environment got so hectic because we got so many kids that are stepping into the game of sports that are not actually developing. We also have those parents that love their babies, and shout out to the parents that have their kids that are out there playing and pouring their money into it. But it comes to be so much more than just saying I paid for my kid and I want them to play. It doesn't work like that. And as a coach, you got to be able to handle those different emotions. That was something big that I really didn't do because, look, I wanted every kid to play. I wanted every kid to be able to experience my going from high school to collegiate level and enjoying all that part. But sometimes we can pour out too much and try to help every kid that is not ready, that we burn our own self out. So in the midst of that environment, also now we got the parents coming to you. The parents want to talk any kind of way. They want to say everything. In the midst of the parents, now has some of the coaches and the ADs was like, hey, we got to do this and we got to do that. But me being the person and leader that I am, yes, I wanted every kid to play. Yes, I wanted to give them that spot. But also I said, hey, we need to direct boundaries. We need to make sure that we're also developing young ladies and not just basketball players or kids that just want to be a part of the team. That means pouring more stuff in them that's going to elevate them to the next level. So my environment got so crazy because it was like me against the whole world, shall I say, at that time. It was like anything that I said, the coaches and the ADs was saying, I don't know, coach. We know that parent gonna say this. We know that parent's gonna say that. But anything in life, again, we know we have to set boundaries and we gotta be willing to talk and stand up for what we know and what we believe. And the biggest thing was standing up to these parents and some of these kids and say, this is just not your time right now. Once again, background for the ones that don't know psychology and social work. So, I'm very amidst on how people emotions and actions and things that can lead and help them guide to the next level. So I was big on that. Okay, now we need to sit this parent down. Now we need to sit this kid down and talk more about development that's mentally, physically, and emotionally to help them get to that next level. But again, because we was a team full of kids that were just winning and doing our thing, people didn't see that all they wanted was a win. And that was me saying, I can't do this. I cannot coach this sport. And my only focus is win if I'm not winning in these kids' lives. So the environment got so clustered of just trying to inform people about, guess what is bigger than basketball. And as we know, when parents pay their money, they ain't trying to hit it. But that was a big part of me of really pushing it and even going to some of the coaches and ADs and saying, what does the plan look like? How are we going to better these kids? And profound to me, going and standing up to this, being this only female in this industry of which I was coaching in, I end up getting backslash and saying, coach, if we do that, we know we're going to have this parent, that parent. Or again, if we even focus on their physicality or their mental capacity, we probably won't have much time to practice and win. And I knew then that this was not the place for me. Because if the growth of the kids only focus on a win and not the growth of them mentally, physically, emotionally, it wasn't for me because basketball taught me so much more than just winning. Because guess what? I took a lot of L's, but I also took a lot of great wins because I learned from it. And I had individuals and coaches in my life that poured so much more into me. So including with that environment just being so toxic in that time, it also was me saying, you know what? I got to focus more on the area of growth. And focusing on the area of growth means focusing in on me, because of many of you coaches that may be looking at this or listening to this, one of the things started happening was I was not pouring back into me. And now just start going by the day to day with coaching. It was like, okay, let me go in the gym and let me get this did. Because at this point, I'm fed up, I'm overwhelmed, but I don't want to let these young girls down because they see a female leader in their life. So now that included me not working out like I supposed to, not really eating like I supposed to, because I'm steady strategizing on what else I can do, knowing everybody was against me. Now I'm overwhelmed. Now I'm exhausted. Now I'm burnt out. And now the game becoming something that I'm like, why am I even a part of this? Why am I doing this? And for many of you guys, I'm going to tell you one of the biggest things that I started doing was prayer. I started praying and praying even more, saying, okay, God, you got to do something about this, because I don't want what actually allowed me to get out the negativity in my environment in my life become a negativity. Like basketball was my everything. I had so many emotional things going on at home too with myself. So anytime I step in that gym or step on the court, you couldn't tell me that. It was like loving basketball for me anytime I stepped on there. And I knew so many of these young ladies that I was coaching was feeling the same way, because again, I had the background, I had the knowledge and the education, so I was able to see that more. And that was one of the reasons why I went off to school, was so I can study more how the body, the mind, and everything connects to what you want to do and what you want to achieve in life. So when I started seeing this in these young girls, I was like, no, not on my watch, not on my time. We got to make a better environment for these kids. So after again coming and talking to these coaches, I said, okay, enough is enough. I gotta let it go. And I quit. Yes, I quit. But I learned so much from it. I know some of you guys are saying, hey, you may have just gave up. No, I didn't give up. I actually stood up. I stood up for what was right. I still have a great connection and great relationship with so many of young ladies, because they, even though all those things were said and people talked about me, they knew that I was standing up for what's right, and they still connected with me. And I'm still that same person that's still standing up for what's right. So I'm telling you, as a coach, get out that environment if you know that environment is not helping you grow, which entail can help you grow these young leaders, because they're looking up to you. Because we all know at one point in time, the game gonna end, that ball gonna start rolling. But what is next? What else are we teaching these kids? And if we're teaching them to settle and be okay with things, even in sports, then they're going to settle in life. And I said, no, not me settling. So I left that environment. I left that toxic environment, and I started focusing more on me, because at that point in time, I seen and noticed how I would get overwhelmed and grouchy with people and family and friends, because I was so overwhelmed about also the decision I was in and the decision I made coming out. It was just like, man, I really went through like that depression and anxiety of, did I really do this? Did I really stop something that I've been doing ever since elementary school? And now I stopped it just because people didn't get along with me? Yeah, you did, Coach Perry. You did stop it, and you stopped it for a right reason. So just because you have a passion and a purpose, it doesn't mean that passion and purpose should have you overwhelmed in a situation where you feel like you're not living up to what is God's decision that He put you in an environment. Each and every last one of us, and the ones currently now in a coaching environment, if you're doing it for the right reason, you was put in that actual environment to do the right thing. And we know how life goes. You're going to be mixed with some good and you're going to be mixed with some bad. But it's up to you to say whether or not I'm going to be the good one out of this. There's not that many great and good coaches. We know that. We know some coaches are out there just to hold up a trophy and say, all I want is, we know some coaches are out there just to be able to live through some of these players. And you can't be that one. You got to be able to stand up for that and say, this is not me. Because at the end of the day, you're going to feel it mentally and physically too. You're going to know you're not doing the right thing. And it's going to fall on you so deep later on when you see these kids that you know that you could have helped out and you could have did better. You could have did more, but you didn't do it because you stayed into an environment that said when it comes first. So don't allow that to be you. Don't allow that to be that coach that you're just overwhelmed in a situation and you just saying, I'm going to stick it out because I'm going to win and I'm going to get a check. How did it look like telling, even if you got kids, how did it look like just telling people that's coming behind you that, okay, it's cool. And I know a lot of you coaches are in those coaching environments where you be like, hey, I'm just here for the check. I'm here for the money. Man, that time is out. We got so many kids that are losing their lives, so many kids that are running rapid and crazy because no one gave them direction. And as we know, sports, especially here for the ones that are in Alabama, we are known as a state of sports. So we have more kids playing sports than we have anything else. So this is your time to actually cringe in and say, you know what? I'm going to make something happen with this ability and the time God gave me to invest in the kids, something great. It's not just a win. Yes, you want to win. Lord knows you want to win. I got some great wins. I got some stuff that went in history. Man, I love it. Got some amazing kids that I was able to coach. Y'all see, I get hyped about it. That coaching coming back at me. Yes, sir. But at the end of the day, through all that, when I can get kids that call me back and say, Coach, I thank you. Coach, I got affirmations that you taught me up in my room. Coach, I feel like I'm much better of a leader. Although I no longer playing anymore, I learned so much from you. Coach, thank you for being the woman you were. Coach, thank you for talking to us during the times. Coach, when we travel AAU, thank you for allowing us to come in your room and be real. Thank you for allowing us to be there with you. And you don't judge us about our fault. You don't judge us about our lifestyle or our parents' environment, but you embraced us, you loved us, and you showed us better ways. That's the part of winning that you really want. That's the part that's on the shelf nobody will see but God. That's that win that you can be able to look at later on in life and say, you know what? I had a part of that. I did that. She's a straight A student. Oh, she graduated from college. Oh, she remembered me. Oh, I did that. So, coach, whatever you're doing right now, I'm calling out to you. Be that bigger person. If the environment is not for you, get out of it. I promise you, if you still want, God will make another platform for you. He will make another environment for you. So although I'm not in a coaching space, the platform that He's made me to guide me right now to actually stand up and talk about those toxic environments, the burnout and the overwhelm that coaches go through, especially women coaches. He's making this way. He's planted this. And I'm so excited about this adventure that I'm doing with just coaches and female athletes. Because sometimes, even like with basketball and coaching in life, there are things that you have to stop so God can open up another door. So you may have to stop there right there. I had to let it go. I had to allow God to handle it. I had to allow God to heal me. So before even this platform, God had to heal me from that anxiety of feeling like I didn't pour much more that I could into these girls. Like I should have did more. And I keep reiterating that because I know it's a lot of coaches just, hammering, Coach, I got more to push. Coach, I got more to give. And guess what? You keep trying to push more and more, which is then pushing yourself back mentally. So you only showing up just to be showing up. Don't allow that to be you. Get today, write down whatever environment you in. Is it helping your growth of you and those athletes, or is it stopping or hindering the growth of you in those athletes. And if you got more on that left side of negativity, let it go. It's your time to leave. I promise you, you're an amazing coach. You did what all you could do in that time frame. Your season is up, but another season is waiting on you. If only you have the heart to say, okay, quit. I'm done because it's a new path God want me to go on. I'm believing in you. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more videos of information like this, as well as drop your comments because I want to hear from you. If you want to jump on and just talk about, some things you experiencing or have experienced that transferred you into saying, okay, it's time for me to let it go. I want to hear from you too. And as always, don't talk about change that you want to see. Be the doer of change. You got it.